And now we'll have two consecutive integer problems. Let's go ahead and look at classroom example 4. The second angle of a triangle measures twice as large as the first. If the third angle measures 40 degrees more than the first, find the measure of all three angles. All right, so what we need to know is that the sum of all three angles in a triangle will add up to 180 degrees. That's true for any triangle. So remember how we're going to have our placeholders? This is going to be the first side. The first angle. This is going to be my placeholder for my second angle. That's an angle symbol. And this is going to be my placeholder for my third angle. So now remember, the first one is always x. So now we'll go and we'll read our word problem so that we can fill in our model. Once we have our model, we'll know that the sum of all three of these should equal 180, because that's true for any triangle. The second angle measures twice as large as the first. The second angle is 2 times the first. If the third angle measures 40 degrees more than, that's addition, 40 degrees more than the first. 40 plus x, or x plus 40. Now they want us to find the measure of all three angles. So I have the sum of all the angles will equal 180. So the first angle plus the second angle plus the third angle will always add up to 180. And now we'll combine our like terms. 1 plus 2 plus 1. We're going to combine all the x's, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be 4x plus 40 equals 180. We'll leave the 4x for a moment. Let's move the 40 over. Subtract 40 from both sides, and we get 4x equals 140. And when you divide 140 by 4, you get 35. So we're not going to circle this. Our answer is not x is 35. You always go back to the word problem and see what they're asking. They want the measures of all three angles. So angle 1 is going to have a measurement, angle 2 is going to have a measurement, and angle 3 is going to have a measurement. If x is 35, angle 1 is 35 degrees. If x is 35, angle 2 is 70 degrees. And if x is 35, angle 3 is going to equal 75 degrees. And let's just make sure to do 35 plus 70 plus 75 equal 180. And yes, they do. So I know my answer is correct. So don't worry about if there's a geometry fact or something. The book will always give you the information you need. This is not a geometry class, so they'll tell you what fact you need there. So go ahead and try practice 5. All right. Let's look at classroom example 5. Here's consecutive integers. There are 4 consecutive integers. Here's the first, here's the second, here's the placeholder for the third, and here's the placeholder for the fourth. Don't try to do this mentally, okay? Go ahead and use the paper, so that you can come up with your model. For consecutive integers, there's no little word even or odd here. So these numbers are going to go up by 1. If the first number, the first integer is x, this is going to be x plus 1. This is going to be x plus 2. And this is going to be x plus 3. We now have our model. Now we can read the rest of the description and solve the problem. The sum of the first and the fourth, that's these two. The sum of the first and the fourth. I went over to my model. That was my first, and that was my fourth integer. So the sum of the first and the fourth is, that's your equals, 125. So let's combine our like terms. X plus x is 2x plus 3 equals 125. And we'll subtract 3 from both sides, and so we'll get 2x is 122. And to get x by itself, we'll divide by 2. And x is going to be 61. So we're not going to circle x is 61. We're going to go back to our problem. They said they wanted all the integers. So what's your first? What's your second? What's your third integer? And what's your fourth integer? If x is 61, this is 61. If x is 61, we come over here and we would do 61 plus 1 is 62. Our third is 61 plus 2. And our fourth is 61 plus 3. That's your answer. So you're going to try practice 6. And this is a reminder that we've gone over direct translations, solving problems where there's a relationship with unknown quantities, that's your x, and then some consecutive integer problems.